and the other one price.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Our co-hosts Carlos Miller and Nav Green are here. And let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Teslin.
Good morning, DJ NV, Carlos and Nav and Charlamagne.
Why are you laughing?
Good morning.
I was laughing because it sounded like you were about to say my last name. You had a little pause.
No. I was saying good morning, Tiz. Well, let's get right into it. Donald Trump indicted by a grand jury. What that mean?
It's fake news.
Yes.
It's fake news.
Is it fake news,
It's
Carlos?
fake news. Donald Trump is represented by some of the best people. He has the best people, right? Am I right? He gets the best lawyers. They know the best law. They go to the best court cases.
Well, they're gonna earn their money now.
They're definitely going to earn their money now. We're going to see if he is truly Teflon Don. But Donald Trump has become the first former president in U.S. history to be indicted by a federal grand jury following an investigation of the alleged mishandling of top secret documents found at his Mar-a-Lago home. Now, the story is continuing to develop, but this is what we know so far. He is facing 7 counts, including willful retention of information related to national defense, at least 1 charge of false statements, and 1 charge related to obstruction of justice. Now, this is the second indictment for the former president. This makes a total of 4 investigations going on all at the same time. Let's listen to some of his 4-minute response that he posted yesterday on Truth Social. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first, and they go after him on a boxes hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. It's just been going on for 7 years. They can't stop.
What was in the classified documents, Tess?
It's classified.
Yes, it definitely was classified. And right now, they said they don't know much of what was in it, but here is what we know so far. They said it was empty folders marked return to staff, secretary/military aid, an executive grant of clemency regarding the Roger Stone, the Roger Stone case, a document titled President of France, whatever that means, a binder of folders, and 1 item labeled potential presidential record. And just for those out there, because I know folks love making this an issue as well about Joe Biden and his classified documents, and just want everybody to know that yes, there is still an investigation for Joe Biden's classified documents, but the difference between Trump and his is that they tried for Trump tried for a year to keep the documents from returning the documents, and so that's the major difference. But they are investigating President Biden.
It's still an easy spin for Trump, though, right? Because Trump can say, "Yo, President Biden took classified documents. This person took classified documents.
Kamala
that
Harris
person took
found
classified
some.
documents."
I think there was some in Charlamagne's crib, like this classified
There's
documents.
definitely none in my crib.
Everybody's crib.
But what Trump is going to say, y'all need to see what President Biden had too, because we don't know. We don't know what he had.
Everybody had classified documents. Yeah, so it's hard.
Well, they are. They're investigating President Biden, but we'll see, what that investigation, turns out to be. But just as a point, so remember, these are a total of 4. So now we have this case going on, still the New York case going on with the hush money. And then Georgia, we look to see something happening with that.
That's coming
that might happen. Yeah, that's coming too.
I didn't think they was gonna give them none, but now that I see that they did it, once I saw the feds do it, I said, okay, everybody gonna do it.
He
now.
gonna beat all them charges except the one in Georgia, though. Georgia's not playing. They got everybody in jail. Thug, YFN, Lucci, the whole everybody going to jail.
They're gonna put them with a RICO case.
Yeah, they not playing.
Yeah.
All right.
We look to hear something on the Georgia case, possibly in June. There's no exact date. And then there's another civil lawsuit going on as well in New York, but this is related to lenders and insurance, some insurers issues with his assets. So we'll see how all this turns out, but he's going to continue to campaign while fighting all of these charges.
This is all because he can't sit his ass down. That's why sometimes when somebody tell you to sit your ass down, sit your ass down.
That's it.
Because if he was not running for president, they would not be bothered.
But I think he loves it though, and I think
so.
for his core. I think for his core, this actually helps him for his core.
Exactly.
I think his core loves him and going to support him regardless.
Because everybody's saying, like, look how much they're against him. They
Absolutely.
know. Yeah, that's how they feel.
Is his core enough
He
to win
needs
an
charges
election?
in all 50 states.
It was last time.
No, it wasn't just his core. You know, he had some of those people that be those center right voters.
But then there's a lot of people that look at Joe Biden and say, is he fit to run for president? The man just fell.
That's
the man just had all these problems.
Absolutely
There's
not.
a lot of people that don't feel like he's fit.
He need different shoes. Like I know he wearing suits. He needs some orthopedic shoes.
Shut up.
You need a caregiver now.
And just as another reminder, because I always talk about people having backgrounds to run for office, and I just want to remind people that for president, he still can run for office. He can even be, be convicted and still run. You only need to be a citizen, 35 years old, and a resident of the United States for at least 14 years. And so, again, he can still run, and even if he can still be elected. Even if he is convicted on any of these charges. And that's one thing I like to point out. Shout out to everybody on Twitter yesterday. I did like a 4-hour Twitter space, and a lot of people tell me they want to run for office, but they have a background, people that want to run on the city and the state level. And that I think that's something that should change, because of the highest office of the land. It doesn't matter if you've been charged, and certainly we should look at how people have an opportunity to serve after they change their life as well.
You could be a convicted felon
to run for president.
Be the president.
Yes.
But can't even get a job in the mall.
That's crazy.
Right. Or get an apartment,
That's
many other things.
Can't even work at Foot Locker with a felon.
Man, you can work for the United States of America, where you got to play yourself.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Tess, we'll see you in a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, call us up right now. Maybe you had a bad night or you're expecting something good to happen to you, whatever it may be. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get into some front page news. Teslin Figaro is back. Good morning, Tez.
Good morning, Breakfast Club.
Now let's get right into it. Front page news. Now let's talk about these canine dogs. What's going on with these canines?
Yeah, new police body cams are now going to hold the dogs accountable. For decades, American courts have just been believing that the drug-sniffing dogs were impartial. Testimony, but they really just previously had to go by testimony from the dog handler, and they said that was usually enough. But now a new federal lawsuit in Texas shows cameras can potentially undermine the canine legitimacy. A new filed federal lawsuit in Texas shows that cameras were able to catch this one particular incident that happened in Houston. Now, Alex Schott has accused Bexar County Sheriff's Department of pulling him over on the interstate under false pretenses. When he refused to give them permission to search his pickup truck, he gave the canine officer gave the dog an alert to scent for drugs. Now, historically, this claim would have been impossible to prove, but in this case, Schott requested to see the body cam, and he was able to show that the officer did give the dog a gesture to smell for drugs. Now, no drugs were found in this case, and so they said, well, since we didn't find any drugs, we'll pay for damage to the truck from the dog, jumping up on the car and, scratching it. And he said, no, that's not going to be enough. I'm going to go ahead and file a lawsuit. So now that more body cams are being sent out all over the country, they're saying now that judges can look at this and hold those officers accountable.
Dang.
Yeah, police dogs racist as hell anyway.
Yes, they are, man.
They should be unconstitutional.
So what they gonna do to the dogs after the dogs do something?
The dogs got to face discipline.
They go to the pound.
They
gotta
go
to the pound.
No, they get chained up behind the police station. They're going to be on the chain.
Yeah,
but see, I don't think that's fair because it's the officer that's doing it. So it feels like that they're gonna give the blame to the dog and not the officer.
How light skinned are you to
the
take up
officer should be charged for it.
Yes, definitely to the officer for giving the alert.
Yeah,
but I thought
absolutely.
This story was so interesting because, as you know, unless it's illegal to do a legal search unless there's probable cause. Right. So if you're bringing the dog and you're doing a little, gesture that the person in the car can't see, and then the dog does something to say, oh, now I got to search your vehicle. Imagine how many, illegal search and seizures have happened, as a result of you not being able to see that they're telling these dogs, to sniff and to find stuff. And the dog could be wrong and with their smelling. And so they've been getting away with a lot of illegal activity with this.
I've also seen some police dogs tear people up worse than cops. If you've ever unfortunately been part of a drug bust and seen somebody try to hide from the police in the house, and then the dogs find their ass in the closet, the dogs attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if the cops be telling them to, but the dogs be.
But once they send the dog in that house, that's the dog's job.
But they ain't supposed to attack.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What do you think you're supposed to smell? Be like, hey, brother, come on out. No, they're gonna grab you.
I thought it was supposed to sniff for drugs. Or even if you hiding, I thought it was just supposed to sniff you out.
The dog,
and then the police
the
pull
dog
you
will
out.
start talking to, get your ass down. It's like when it gets you.
Police brutality is taught by everybody on the police force,
lying.
from the dogs to the lady who answered the 911 call.
You ain't lying.
That's
Just
what the
they
officers
show
should
the
be
dogs,
charged.
the videos, the dogs, they be licking, they can't wait. They be ready.
That's because those dogs are drug addicts. How you think they know how to find them?
Yeah.
Now, also, New York City is suing Kia and Hyundai.
Yes, New York City this week filed a lawsuit against Kia and Hyundai, claiming that the automakers' vehicles are too easy to steal, creating issues, including a potential risk for death and injury to the public. Now, the lawsuit was filed with the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York, and they alleged that they failed to keep up with other automakers by not adopting anti-theft immobilizer technology that makes sure vehicles cannot be started without keys. Now, according to the 39-page lawsuit filed on Tuesday, some models sold by Hyundai and Kia in the U.S. came without those engine immobilizers, which was a standard feature in the 1990s, since the 1990s.
Well, they probably took those features out to make the cars a little cheaper, but my problem is, why don't they sue YouTube? Because YouTube is where these kids are actually going on and finding out how to do it. Somebody figured it out, and they put this video on YouTube, and that's where they get this information, or TikTok. That's where they get the information from.
This is
We used to be a proper country.
What you mean?
People used to steal nice cars.
What's wrong with
Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Cadillacs. You mean to tell me they stealing our Hondas and our Kias?
Hyundais. Not even a Honda.
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Man.
A Sonata.
It's just not
And
worth
you're
it.
right. You're right with that, DJ Envy. There is a video. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something I was going to bring up as well on TikTok that is showing people how to steal the cars with a USB cord and a screwdriver. That is actually under Kia Challenge. Not that I'm telling people to go figure out how to steal it, but that is a real issue. Now, I do want to say this on how they're holding
You stupid.
Yeah, I do want to say this because people may wonder, well, how are they holding New York accountable? And so you're absolutely right, Envy. They're saying that because they decided to reduce the costs and to boost profits, that is causing an epidemic of theft. So they're citing in this court case negligence, public nuisance, and the city claims that car thefts impede public safety, it strains the police department's resources, and negatively impacts other emergency responses. So that's what they're citing in this lawsuit.
This is disrespectful to the car thieves, because maybe the people stealing the cars are just great at what they do. So you should give the car thieves some flowers.
But,
You know
I mean,
what
but
I'm saying?
they're
y'all
showing
giving
people.
YouTube credit and saying the car's too easy to steal. What about the actual
Yeah, but
thieves?
they're showing kids how to do it on YouTube and
Each
TikTok.
one teach one.
But the problem is this, it's not that...
Talk about the OGs not sharing information with the youth.
You stupid. It's not that they're stealing Kias and Hyundais, it's they're stealing these cars and they're doing bad things with them. So I steal a Kia and Hyundai.
Smoking with cigarettes?
No, but then I'm going to rob a bank and it's a stolen
Man,
Kia.
why would you steal a car in New York? They ain't even know where to park.
Ain't no, and
They
ain't
ain't
nowhere to
even know
go.
where to go. It's traffic. You stealing the car to be stuck in traffic.
But they stealing these cars and then they'll go, stick up somebody outside a club, or they'll go in and they'll rob a store or a jewelry store, or rob a bank, or they'll rob the person in the Cadillac or BMW with this stolen Kia because there's no way to get back to it.
Yeah, that's exactly why people do this.
It's
you
older
gotta
people on
steal a car
TikTok,
before
too.
you go commit bigger crimes because you need a getaway car. It only makes sense.
There's no getaway in New York though. You better off robbing a bank, and I'm not encouraging y'all to do this, but you better off robbing a bank and trying to escape on foot.
You better
Get
off
on the
not doing
train or
anything.
something.
How about that?
No, you definitely better off
You
not
better off
doing
robbing
nothing.
a bank. How
But
about
ain't
doing
no
nothing?
high-speed chase. Remember when Meghan Markle was here lying about how she was in a high-speed car chase? There's no such thing as in New York
Did
City.
you just call Meghan Markle a liar?
He did.
Yes.
Wow, you was
Absolutely.
low down, man. On a Friday.
They go.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Tez.
This is really the best. Only on the Breakfast Club can you hear this type of commentary.
Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to Tesla and Figaro's podcast, the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, and follow Tez on Instagram at Tesla and Figaro.
All right.
I'm
Now, light your Pali Santos, man.
What happened?
Light your Pali Santos.
Why?
Janelle Monáe about to come in here.
I'll wait till she come then.
All right. Well, Janelle Monáe will be joining us when we come back, and we're going to talk to her. She got a new album. It's called Age of Pleasure.
And it's fantastic.
Must be this age right here.
We'll get to it next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.